In this video, I'm going to talk about the 4 most important exercises to build muscle. These 4 exercises are to build hypertrophy and muscle, not to build strength. I say that because I've seen a lot of videos with similar titles, but they're talking about building strength. And although building strength and muscle do have a connection, they are 2 separate things and they are 2 separate training styles. These 4 exercises are designed to work all of the muscles, and we're not going to have 2 exercises working the same muscle. These exercises are to give you the most growth quickly and as well for people that don't have much time. Just before I get into the 4 exercises, if you want to learn how to build muscle and how to lose body fat, then subscribe to this YouTube channel and click the little bell as well. That's very important because YouTube will then notify you when I upload a new YouTube video. Also, stay to the end of the video. I'm going to share an incredible bonus tip with you, and what I'm going to do in the bonus tip is actually tell you how many sets and reps to aim for, and also I'm going to put it into a program if you want to do some additional exercises. If you want to build the best physique that you can, then you need to work all the muscle groups, all the body parts. I'm going to show you the 4 best compound movements, because compound movements are what build the most size, and we'll talk a little bit more about fine tuning in the bonus tip. Compound movements will make up around 80 to 85% of your overall growth, and so that's why we're focusing on the compound movements. A compound movement is basically where you're targeting one muscle group, but additionally you're going to be working other muscle groups. So a good common example is the bench press. The bench press is designed so that you want to work the chest. That's the target muscle, is the chest. However, you also get some good work in the front delts and the triceps as well on the back of the arm. So it's clear why they help to build more muscle, because you're working more muscle groups. With an isolation exercise such as a tricep kickback, you're just isolating the tricep, you're not working any other muscle group. The first exercise is the barbell bench press, and this is going to be targeting the chest. The barbell bench press is the best exercise, in my opinion, for building a bigger chest, especially as someone who's a beginner or intermediate. It's certainly the best way to build a big chest. To give you some focus points on your form and getting the most out of the exercise, you need to arch your back. You'll often see people do this, and as a beginner it makes you believe that arching your back may actually cause injury, but it's the opposite. It prevents injury throughout the whole movement, throughout the whole body, by arching your back. You're protecting the joints. You also want to retract your scapula. So your upper back, you want to pinch your shoulder blades back together and squeeze the upper back, almost as if someone's put a tennis ball in the middle of your back and you're trying to hold it there. So obviously if I'm holding a tennis ball in the middle of my back right now, as soon as I release that, the tennis ball's going to fall. So you also want to have your shoulders right back so you're ready to press the weight. 2 other bench press tips are: when you set yourself up for the bench press, put your arms on the bar shoulder width apart, and what I want you to do at that point is move your hands out wide so you get a wider grip, around 2 to 3 inches, and see what feels comfortable for you. But you want to take a wide grip. If you take a wide grip on the bench press, you're going to be working and getting a deeper stretch on the chest, and that's going to allow for more growth. Another big tip is when you bring your arms down on the bench press, focus on your elbows, and you're bringing your elbows to the sides of your body, almost like you're trying to tuck your elbows into your rib cage. What you don't want to do is what you often see people do with the bench press and with push-ups as well, is their arms are flared out. They're almost like this, so they're coming down like that. That's a really good way to get yourself injured. So what you want to do, instead of the arms flared out, the arms want to be in, and you're coming to the sides of the body just like that. While the chest has other close second exercises such as dips or incline press, exercise number 2 is really a clear winner, and that's the shoulder press. So the shoulder press, I recommend doing the shoulder press standing and with dumbbells, and that's going to work the shoulder. Now we have 3 heads to the shoulder. So we have the front head, we have the medial head, which is the middle, and then we have the rear at the back. So the shoulder press is mainly targeting the front. It's targeting also a lot of the side, and it is also hitting a little bit of the rear deltoid as well. The shoulder press is great as well because it will hit a little bit of the upper chest very slightly, and a little bit of the traps as well on your back when you're pushing the weight up. I like to use dumbbells because I feel it more in the shoulders when I use the dumbbells. It's also a balancing act as well, whereas when you have the barbell, you're not actually having to balance the weight and use those stabilizer muscles, which does contribute to a small amount of growth. What you need to focus on is pushing the weight above your head and following through to full extension at the top. When you're lowering the weight, don't come any lower than the chin. You're going to build more muscle by stopping at the chin. Anything below the chin, in my opinion, you're really just giving yourself an extra rest at the bottom of the movement. If you bring the dumbbells all the way down here, I'm not getting much shoulder activation when the weight is down here. When I stop here, I've got constant tension on the shoulder, and that's my personal preference on training the shoulders. It also can help prevent injury, and speaking of preventing injury, never ever press behind the head. There's a lot of people that actually press the weight behind their head, and by doing that, you're really asking for an injured shoulder. We focused on the upper body, but now we need to focus on the lower body. So exercise number 3 is squats. And there is no better exercise for building the legs, for building the lower body, than squats. The two challenges are people don't want to train legs or don't train legs because it's not fun, and they don't squat low enough when they do squat. If you're only doing half squats, you're not going to be building much muscle, and you can actually increase the risk of injury by doing that. So what you want to do is making sure you're getting a full squat depth, and if you can't do that, then I actually recommend box squats instead whilst you build up to getting that full depth on the squat. If you're a person that skips training legs or doesn't want to train legs, then here's a really good reason to start training legs. 1, you're going to burn more calories. 2, and this is the main reason why I can hopefully convert you to training legs, and that's because the legs are such a big muscle group. Think about it, you're training the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes, they're the muscles you're working with squats. Because they're the biggest muscles in your body, you're going to boost your testosterone, you're going to boost your growth hormone. When you boost those two things, that means it's going to help you build more muscle in your other muscle groups. So by training legs, it's actually going to help you build more muscle in your whole body. Next up is training the back, and that's with pull-ups. This is the only body weight exercise I've actually recommended, and that's because pull-ups are very challenging even as a body weight exercise. They're going to work the whole back, but they're going to really target the lats, that muscle that's sort of right under here. It's the muscle that gives you that V-taper look. If you have a thinner waist and a wider back, that gives you that look that a lot of us want. Much like the bench press, we want to use a wider grip. So again, 2 to 3 inches wider. And what I want you to do is focus on pulling with your elbows. You should be pulling those elbows to the sides of your body, almost like you're trying to tuck them into your rib cage, like we said before, and pulling in from that wide angle. You also want to really push your chest out and try to lift your chest up to the bar with your chin up. That's the best form to use with pull-ups. I don't want you beginners to get mistaken with chin-ups, so just to make it clear, a pull-up is with the palms facing away from you, just like this. The chin-up is when your palms are facing yourself. If you're struggling to do even one pull-up, then what you might want to do is use resistance bands. Put your knees in the resistance bands. That's going to help you pull yourself up. You can also actually use the assisted pull-up machine if you're going to a gym, or worst case scenario, switch over to a barbell bent over row. The reason I didn't recommend that exercise as the exercise for the back is because it can be an exercise that people struggle with their form on. So now the bonus tip, as I promised. So for a beginner, what I recommend you do probably in the first year of training is do 2 days per week, the 4 exercises that I've labelled in this video: the bench press, the pull-ups, the squats and the shoulder press. Do 2 days per week, so maybe a Monday and a Thursday, or a Tuesday and a Friday, so you're keeping some distance between the days, and do 5 sets of each exercise, so you're doing 10 sets in total per week, and work in the 6 to 10 rep range to build the most muscle. For those of you that want to make this into an actual workout plan, if you're a little more advanced or intermediate level, then use all the 4 exercises that I mentioned, but then we can actually add some additional bicep and tricep work in there as well. So what I would do is add a few sets of dumbbell skull crushers and a few sets of bicep curls with the dumbbells. I also recommend adding in a few sets of face pulls to get some more rear delt work, because this is an area that we often lack. Opposed to 5 sets in a workout for those muscle groups, I just recommend 3 sets because they are smaller muscle groups. If you are more advanced than that, then what you can do is actually do 3 full body workouts per week. Do 5 sets of all the 4 movements that I talked about, so that would be 15 sets per week, and then do 4 sets of the other exercises, the biceps, the triceps and the rear deltoids, so that way you're getting 12 sets a week of those.